Hi, 7th grade. Welcome to week 2. So I just wanted to let you know what you're responsible for today, March 30th. It is Monday. I posted an announcement on the stream last night just regarding the new schedule we're going to be following. So just take a look at that when you get a chance. You're going to click on the classwork tab. You'll see that we have a new agenda for week 2. So if you ever just need a reminder of what you're responsible for and what's due that day, it's located on this agenda. Okay. I'm going to scroll down to week 2, day 1, March 30th. Make sure that you submit your homework, your attendance for the day. That should be the first thing you do when you log in. Then you're going to go to your student-friendly lesson. There's 2 pieces here. This is the lesson that I'm going to click on in a second to take you through what you're learning today. And then this is the website for you to view for the warm-up. It just gives you like an overview and a general understanding of what this lesson is all about. Okay, the username and password is there for you guys to access that video. So here's your lesson. And again, if you notice, the warm-up is telling you to go to that website to learn a little bit about the vocabulary that you're going to be seeing in today's lesson. So we're going to use a sample to gain information about a population. So to start, there's a lot of vocabulary we have to go over. A population is going to be representing an entire group of objects or individuals considered for a survey. And then a sample is going to be a part of the population. So for example, if we were talking about the entire 7th grade, that would be a population. And then if we selected one class, like let's say 706, that would be a sample of the population. So again, the population would be the entire 7th grade. A sample would be 706 or 701 or 711, okay? A part of the entire thing that we're talking about. If we scroll down, it then talks about what makes something random, a sample random, and what makes a sample biased. So a random sample is a sample in which each individual or object in the entire population has an equal chance of being selected. And then bias is a sample that does not fairly represent the population. So in this lesson, you guys are going to be figuring out whether or not a sample is considered random or biased. So the first one, it's a little hard to see on here, but it wants you to determine whether or not it is a random or biased sample. So the first one says, Roberto wants to know the favorite sport of adults in his hometown, and he surveys 50 adults at a baseball game. So they want you to decide, is this sample, biased or random? So think about what he wanted to figure out. He wanted to figure out what their favorite sport was, and he surveyed 50 adults at a baseball game. What do you think this would be? This would be an example of a biased sample. The reason is because if he's asking to figure out what their favorite sport is, and he's asking people at a baseball game, then the sample is obviously going to be skewed a little bit towards people that like baseball. I don't think they would be at a game if they didn't like baseball. So that would be an example of a biased sample. The second one says, Paula wants to know the favorite type of music for students in her class. She puts the names of all the students in a hat and then draws the names and surveys those students. So for this one, let's think about it. She wants to know their favorite type of music, and she puts all the students' names in the hat and then draws them out one by one and surveys those students. So this population would be a random sample because there's no odds going towards like one student over another. If she's putting them in a hat, then it's totally random who gets selected. Okay, then there's just a reflection there. How might you choose a sample of size 20 to determine the preferred practice day of players in a soccer league? So to keep it a good sample, you would want to make sure that it's random and not biased. So you could do the same thing that they did in B by putting all the names in the hat and then surveying only 20 of the players. You could have them just line up and then like survey every 5th person in line, because there's no bias to the way that you are collecting this data. Okay? Then there's a your turn for you to try on your own. It goes into a few more examples where again you're determining if it's biased or random. And then there's this, which is your independent work for you to complete as a Google form in your classroom. So it's going to be the same questions, but just in a Google form. Here it says to submit by 3 p.m., but all assignments are going to be due by 11:59 p.m. So you can disregard the 3 p.m. Time on this. It's just that these are already created, so we can't change the time at this point. But it is not due until 11:59 tonight. Okay? And that's it. So I'm going to get out of this and just show you what else you need to do today. So there's your answer key lesson. You can check your answers for the you-dos that were there against that. Then you will answer your you-do wrap-up. See, it says right here, due by 11:59. And then you will also have your homework to complete, again, due by 11:59. Make sure you complete, and remember to click send. If you don't click send, then I don't get your results, so it's very important that you click that send. Okay, so a pretty easy day today, just distinguishing the difference between random and biased. Remember, random would be where there's no preference to the sample that you're selecting, so there's nothing that's swaying the decision, and and biased would be. So like, let's say you wanted to know, you asked your classmates, like, what is their favorite subject? That would be a random sample, because you're not making them assume any kind of conclusion. But if you say to the kids in the math club, hey, what's your favorite subject? Well, that's going to be a bias sample, because they're a part of the math club. They obviously enjoy math, probably over other subjects. Okay, so that's all today's lesson is. I hope that you guys find it pretty easy, and I will talk to you again tomorrow about day 2's responsibilities. Okay, take care.